Hey, what's up guys? This is TBone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game Heroes. So in today's episode, we're going to try and focus our efforts on the solo bosses. In the last video, I went up against the crusade bosses, but we didn't actually come across any solo boss. So today we're going to take a look at a couple of teams that we can try against both the Corellium and also the diamond bosses. So we're going to start with the Corellium here. We have a level 20 solo boss, and it has 191 trillion health. So we're going to try a couple different teams. Now, ideally, if we can get overkills, that'd be great. But what I want to do is I want to try and, basically show what we could use so that at least you can go through the bosses and just kind of get on with the crusade bosses. All right, so this is a team that I tried last time. Didn't quite work in the crusades, but I think this works okay for solo. So it's using Spirits United as the card that gives the boost to the chaotic killer for slayers. And then we also have high performance unit area and golems as the main cards to boost the freedom fighters. So freedom fighters is going to get a boost from both the golems as well as the unit area, and also from Spirits United to maximize the damage. And then we're also going to use Aegea, that's the only card I have right now, as the card that's going to give us the off affinity so that we can try and get damage. Now the problem with the Corellium boss is right now we don't have to worry about anything else other than shields, but time isn't on our side, so we have to be able to deal damage quickly. So let's go ahead and jump into a fight right now. We're going to use 3 keys for attack here. Now you have to expect that you might need to use anywhere from 3 to 9 to 12 to even 15 keys sometimes to get through the bosses, but that's okay because keys are easy to replenish. The thing is whether or not you will be able to actually get through them. So we're gonna use area here because there's poison, so we want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. It will kill you in a fight. All right, and so what we can do here is I'm actually going to wait 1 turn because I want to take advantage of the passive ability of the golem to create the gems here. And so you can see here, golem is actually creating gems. So then what we have to do is we have to decide when we activate. I would actually activate Aegea next because what that does is it gives me the gems that I can use to override. And so now I was able to deal 49.7 trillion damage, and as a result of that I was actually able to just take out the boss, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get any overkill except for the 25%. So depending on how much damage you can deal there, you'll want to try and chip down the damage a little bit. I didn't do that because I wasn't exactly sure how much damage I was able to deal, but you notice that I was able to do that because I was able to override and upgrade the power gems. So what I was trying to say before was after my sequence, and I think what I can do is I can show it using the diamond solo boss, but I wanted to show other teams, so I don't want to just use it up. But what I'll do is I'll talk about the team here, right? So what you want to do is you want to activate the high performance unit area first for the armor, for the immunity, and then you get that bonus. But you don't want to activate everything next. What you want to do is you want to wait 1 turn because then the glorious golems will passively spawn gems. That will almost fill the door for you, and then use Aegea or any other card that can spawn a lot of off affinity power gems to fill out the rest of the holes. Then when you activate both glorious golems and also the freedom fighters, what you're doing is you're going to then upgrade those off affinity power gems to a higher level power gem, and then when you do a power gem swap using those, you'll end up dealing more damage. So this is one of the options. So I had attempted to go up against a diamond solo boss after the Corellium boss, and I was trying to come up with a different team. But I had a very hard time. So you can see I'm not going to hide. I actually tried 6 different attempts, and I wasn't able to get a lot of damage in. And one of the decks I was trying to use was this one, where I was using Truth and Consequence and High Justice Pit for the reset. But the problem I ran into is health. I don't have enough healing, I don't have enough health, and I also couldn't deal with poison. Poison was causing me a lot of problems even though I had a card that could give me heal. So I put in Stromer the Savage in there as the only dark commander card that I can use to dispel poison. And I used Wicked Queen. Wicked Queen is a really good card for the heal. And if you're not worried about poison, for example, this card could be a really good card to use this event also if you're up against armor. So a Wicked Queen is a warden, and she counters armor. So what that will mean is she'll guarantee to dispel armor every single turn, and also her passive ability will make sure that you're always healed. As long as you have enough dark commander cards on your team, you will never lose health. This is one of the best cards in the game for maintaining your health. But the problem is you need a deck that will be able to create enough power gems. My problem with this deck, and I'm going to show you in this case, I'm just going to show you here, like I'm not going to show all the previous attempts, but I'm going to show you what's wrong with this deck, but the idea was sound. So the problem here is Truth and Consequence doesn't quite create enough power gems. And what I needed to do is I needed to be able to deal enough damage, and I need to cover enough of the board so that it makes sense for me to have Aegea in here. And so you see here, I'm dispelling poison, and I'm able to also get a heal from Wicked Queen. But what I need to do here is I need to make a match every single turn for the Truth and Consequence deck in order to build up Dread. Now the problem here is I did not actually dispel one of the poisons here. It's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world for me here, because with just one poison, I could still maintain my health. All right. But if I don't dispel it, then it's going to be a real issue for me pretty soon. So I'm probably going to have just enough health to survive this hit here, and I really need to make sure that I can activate my my Wicked Queen's battle skill. All right, and so this is going to be the next hit where I would be just enough to survive, and I'm going to use the Wicked Queen's ability for me to heal the rest of the way. So this will give me a couple more turns. So my Dread is up to 7, and the goal really was for me to get to about, I would say get to about 12 if possible, but we might not even make it to 9, depending on whether or not I'll be able to make a dark match next turn, and also gotta make sure that I don't have to deal with poison. All right, and so we're going to be able to get that there, and we're going to now activate in this order. We're going to activate the event card here first. We're also going to activate Wicked Queen just because, and then we're going to activate in this order. We're going to just activate everything. We're going to reset, and then we're going to activate Truth and Consequence again. So I didn't really leave myself a lot of time, but I tried to do a match of the highest power gems I had. But you can see here I was only able to deal 1.1 trillion overall here. That's because I don't have any other damage boost, and I don't really have enough power gems overall. So I would say that if you wanted to use this style deck, it's not going to work really well. So if you have golems, that's going to work. And if you have any other cards besides the Truth and Consequence that can give you a lot of power gems, that's really the way to go. It's just that I needed something to dispel poison, and unfortunately this deck just isn't quite how I would what I would recommend. All right, so we're going to do this one more time. We're going to just showcase how this could work with the team that I just showed earlier, and see if we can do a little bit better in terms of the overkill. So what we did earlier was, what you could do is you could take the boss down to about halfway and not use the biggest hit that you can come up with, and then just come back again if you can't. Like if you can't survive, then do another 3 key attack, or reset for another one. So what I mean by that is chip down the damage a little bit first, but don't do so much damage that you end up taking the boss in one hit. And so I'm going to do that by not doing that wait. So I'm not going to wait the extra turn. So with the strategy I put in place, I was going to wait additional turn here, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I'm not going to wait that extra turn, and instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate one, and I'm going to activate Aegea next. Now you can see here's a full board of gems. Then I'm going to activate the golems, and this should not take out the boss because I don't believe that this is going to deal enough damage. So let's just see how much damage. So we're going to be able to deal 11 trillion damage from Freedom Fighters, and that's going to be about 56 trillion damage. And so that's good. So what that does is that gives us the chance to save up for the next attack. Now, assuming that I can actually survive here, that's the first thing. So I guess I could. And what next thing I need to do is I need to get Aegea. The problem here is Aegea is not going to have her 14 power gems. It's going to be just 7, right? And so if we were to go and do this, right? So if we were to activate in the same order, we have less water power gems to deal with, right? So this is going to not do what we expect it to. So we're not going to deal a lot of damage here. In fact, I don't even get the nuke going. But what this sets up for is potentially getting ourselves the 50% or higher bonus next. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go back in for another 3 key attack. Sometimes it might make sense to split up into 2 attacks rather than a single one. It's better to go with 2 3 key attacks and get the overkill rather than 1 3 key attack and getting 0 overkill, because you might accidentally just deal enough damage to take it out. All right, so we're gonna do this again, and so the strategy is we're going to activate high performance area next, and then we're going to wait 1 turn. Okay, so we're going to activate get hit, get our damage boost. We're not going to activate everything just yet. We're going to wait 1 turn. Okay, and then we're going to let the battle skills, the passive battle skill, help us spawn a bunch of power gems. And when that does, right, so you can see there, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create this. And now I'm going to set up HEA, and then we're going to try and get the question is whether or not it's better to do this. Like, I'm going to try this and see if that helps, where I did just the 2 match that's not connected to anything, and that didn't really work out, right? So I'm still trying to figure out like what's going to give us the best damage, but for sure this is going to be okay, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to reset ourselves. Okay, and I'm going to activate this because that is required for me to not lose all my health from the poison. And then so we're gonna get hit here. So the question is, yeah, so I think I need to do that. So I think I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to try and do a swap quickly so that I can at least count on my nuke damage. And so let's see how much we can do there. Yeah, so this is not working as well as I hope, but you saw in the first opportunity I had, I was able to deal enough overkill. So what this shows is that the same setup here can't guarantee consistent damage, especially if you don't use HEA. Like if you use HEA more than once, you lose that ambush, then you can't really deal as much damage. The problem I have now is the most damage I can deal without accidentally killing the boss is 17 trillion, and that's not going to get me any overkill. And so unfortunately I'm gonna have to give up on the overkill here, so I'm just going to take out the boss. But I think that in most situations, if you can set it up so that you can get the power gems overriding each other, you'll be able to deal enough damage so that you can get the overkill. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to try the strategy of waiting 1 turn, because my hope is I can deal enough damage from the freedom fighters without the nuke, such that I should be able to get some overkill. That's the hope anyways. And so I think this is probably going to be the best I can do. Let's see. It's really hard to see, like when I can't see the numbers underneath, to determine which is going to be the best shot. I can't even get enough damage to take out the boss without the nuke. But here we go. We're able to at least get through the boss. That is sort of ultimately the goal there. So we were able to get through the Corellium solo boss and move on. So unfortunately, I couldn't show you a lot of variations of teams, but hopefully this kind of sort of helps you sort of get through and understand how you would want to use the multi-affinity and at least one of the decks to help you with solos. So that's going to be it for me for today, and probably going to be it for me for this event also. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope this is helpful. Take care, and I'll see you next time. All right. Bye, guys.